Greetings, RC Model Geeks, and here we are, guess what? In the shed. Yeah, so first off, thank you to everybody for the comments on the last video, and the condolences, etc, etc. Much appreciated, of course. Yeah, so, you know, I've been like, you know, doing all that stuff you have to do when somebody dies, you know, like death certificates, you know, going to the morgue, you know, blah blah blah. Great fun, but pretty much all the paperwork is now done. And of course in the UK, if you didn't know, for every copy of the death certificate, you have to pay £11, and you need a fair few of them. So yeah, that's all all done. Anyway, what else can I tell you? This is going to be a sort of a waffle video, just to bore you to death for Christmas. So I don't know if any of you guys that used to watch the channel and read the comments section, there used to be a guy, used to call himself Angel. Angel was a great commenter in the comment section. He used to write an essay on every video. And I just found out yesterday that he's actually passed away. I saw that he hadn't commented on the video, and I thought, well, you know, I'll give him a call. Phoned him up, no answer. Did a quick search on the net and found that he'd unfortunately died back in August. Yeah, Angel was also known as Barry Clay. Barry Clay was a prolific modeller, model shop owner at one time, artist, full-size aircraft restorer, you name it, he did it. And he also known as Balsa Basher on certain forums. And yeah, sadly he has passed away, and he'd be greatly missed, I have to say. I always look forward to either talking to him or you know, reading his comments. So yeah, great loss for the modelling community, actually. Anyway, so let's have a look at this plane, shall we? So this is the Ben Buckle Super Buccaneer. That basically, the fuselage is brand new. Like I said, I bought it at the Pop and Model show. It was a shed. I will put up a picture of I took of it when I got it home. It was a complete shed. It had to be completely rebuilt. There's a little story to that. What happened was I sort of took the covering off the back of the original plane and saw the bodge work that had been done to the rear of it. So I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll CAD up the rear and then graft it on right here. So I made up all the rear, grafted it on, and then I thought, well, I've got to rip off the rest of the covering. And I went up to the front of the plane, took all the covering off, blah blah blah, fuel soaked as anything. So ended up CADing the rest of the plane, building a brand new front section, joining the two together. And then, because there was a sort of a worry about the weight of the rear of the plane, I redesigned the horizontal stab and the vertical fin, and I went. The Ben Buckle Super Buccaneer is sort of we'll call it a fork in software terms of a 1937 design of the Super Buccaneer. Obviously been changed from free flight to RC. And by doing that, they changed a few things like the aerofoil of the wing, you know, obviously added some control surfaces and stuff like that, and a few other little tweaks. So what I did, I redesigned the tail and turned it back into how the tail of the 1937 version was, which is slightly different to the Ben Buckle version. So it's really turned it back into a lifting tailplane again. And I just wanted to see what it flew like with that lifting tailplane, and it's not too bad, actually. I mean, as you can see, the control surfaces are fairly substantial, and that's why the thing is so sensitive. So I will be putting some expo definitely on the rudder. It's always useful to have that extra movement anyway, especially when you're taxiing on the ground, but in the air it is very, very sensitive. but nothing we can't sort out. Anyway, so while we're at the back, what I've done, the whole tail assembly, the tail feathers, etc., whatever you want to call them, is now actually plug-in. So under here, this is litho plate. If I remove that, there are 2 screws that I can undo, and there are dowels in the back here that plug it into the rear of the fuselage. So I can actually remove that whole tail, because it is a flipping massive plane, actually. I mean, this is like over 2 foot. It's like about 2.5 foot, that tailplane. It is big. So yeah, that can be removed, which is good. What else did we do? I went for the exact original design of the tail skid, which is like 2 bits of, or 1 bit of metal bent round. Acts as sort of a brake as well. I don't know whether we'll get a good shot of that or not, but it acts as like a brake when it's on the ground. Obviously, the control system there, closed loop for the rudder, push rod for the elevator, all nice and straight. There's not a single kink in any of it. When I drew the fuselage up, I CAD'd everything into position so I could get exact straight lines all the way down to the servos and stuff like that are in there. You'll also see the throttle servo there. That's actually mounted on a slant so that it's got a straight run up to this throttle connection there. Everything is just spot on. There's no bends, kinks and nothing. I had a bee in my bonnet about crappy control linkages, so I always like them to be perfectly straight. Up at the front here, some little features. A fuel filler. I thought I want to do something different for the fuel filler, so I've got a brass bolt and nut. If we unscrew this, there is your fuel filler, and then I got this brass domed nut, put some O-rings down inside it, bought a brass bolt, machined it down, and mounted it in there, and obviously connected the pipework up to it. So basically, you just put that on, screw it up. Works quite nice. What else have we done? Right, there's a fuel filter in there. You can see that gold thing. What it's mounted to is a 3D printed clip that I knocked up. So that just clips in there, holds it nice, all nice and clean and straight. Looks really good. Let's come around this side. We can have a look at the motor and everything. It's Sato 80. Not the cleanest motor, but hasn't had much run time. I think it's been sitting around for a long time. But as you saw, she runs sweet as a nut. The wheels, it came with horrible vintage wheels, you know, that you'd put on like a World War I fighter. I wanted balloon wheels. So I was looking on Hobby King, and they had the wheels for the Grand Tundra. These are like just over 6 inches. 11 quid a pair for a big set of balloon tyres. So I bought all their stock of them just before they went tits up in the UK, old Hobby King. Brilliant, worked well. 11 quid a pair, can't go wrong. Because if you went to buy them normally, you know, you'd be saying goodbye to like 20, 30 quid nowadays. So that's good. The undercarriage I remade, that's all new. The original undercarriage was just rusted to buggery. Nothing of it left really. Decal on the front, it's a Buccaneer, and the plane's a Buccaneer. That is a water slide transfer that I made. You basically put the water slide transfer into your inkjet printer, print it out, spray on some lacquer, put it in water, slide it off, Bob's your uncle. Comes out very, very nice. Holes for needle valve and adjustments and stuff. All the holes through here are sleeve. They've got brass sleeves all the way through. The same on this side. That hole is actually a brass sleeve, so you're not going to get any fuel soak. It's all like epoxied around there and everything. No fuel soak going on there. Engine mounting, obviously they're mounted on bearers, and I've got the those spiked blind nut things in there. works perfectly. Everything was fuel proofed. It was epoxy fuel proofed. It's been painted, it's been varnished. Never ever is any fuel soaking into the wood in this plane, ever. As you can see, it's still quite clean after its couple of runs, so you know that worked out well. In here, this is the avionics bay, shall we call it? Now that's grey plate that's down here. That's 3D printed. So yeah, it's a 3D printed tray. So we've got the battery eliminator there, the BEC, 5 amp BEC, and obviously the receiver. Now this wire here, I'm actually monitoring the LiPo pack voltage for the BEC, because it's basically sort of tucked away under here, never to be got at again. You know, I wanted a good way to see what my pack voltage was. You know, over time. Obviously it's going to last quite a time because we're only running a couple of servos and stuff, and I think it's like a 2200 milliamp hour 3S in the bottom there, so it's going to last quite a while. Now this is a switch and charge socket that I've also mounted onto that 3D printed plate. Yeah, so we've got a push rod that comes out to like this little ball link that I soldered onto a bit of wire. Works perfect. This has also got a charge port in this switch socket, so we can charge the battery up as and when it's needed. The plate is mounted on O-rings to give it a bit of vibration damping from the 4-stroke. Yeah, I mean that's the basics of this plane. The only thing I cocked up on it majorly and I don't like is the surround round this window. The window I laser cut out of cellulose or celluloid, and then I put some LiPo plate around the edge of it, and I thought, well, I'll have it as like a silver frame around the windscreen, and I put it on there and I thought, oh, I don't like that. So then I thought, you know what, I'll paint it black. So then I painted it black. I looked at it and thought, you know what, I don't like that either. So then I went and painted it yellow. And at that point, because it had so many layers of different paint on it, it all started to go manky. But I've left it for now. I'll sort that out at some point. So the fuselage is covered in Solartex. It's the Solartex that doesn't have any paint on it or anything. It's just the clear Solartex. And then I've spray painted the whole fuselage. And then once that was spray painted, I have varnished the fuselage and just basically brushed on varnish. And it's matte varnish, comes out with a nice look to it, nice sort of vintagey, not too shiny look. Obviously I've done the old vinyl cutting for all the decals on this plane. That's vinyl cut. This is vinyl cut, same as that. Any decals on it, that's vinyl as well, but I cut that by hand. Yeah, and also obviously I did the Super Buccaneer on the wing there as well. That's just like red and black overlaid with an offset. Looks good. Like I said, the wing I haven't really touched apart from I stripped all the covering off, recovered it, painted it. The structure wasn't too bad underneath, so you know, we just let it roll. Yeah, we've got a hole here, like I said. That's for adjusting the low speed mixture. Needle valve here. Just to put a little mark on it to show the rough position of where it should be. That little dot there isn't actually another mark. That's actually another tube hole, and that goes through to the choke actuator on the engine. I decided not to use it. There was no real need for it, so I've left the hole there in case I wanted to. I also painted the inside of the planes just a little bit. You know, you get any fuel in there or anything like that, you know, at least it's protected it a bit. You know, and the plane can handle a little bit of weight, so you know, it's not a problem really. Other modifications, yeah. I mean, on the original Super Buccaneer, the undercarriage is mounted in to the fuselage, and once you've built the fuselage, you cannot remove the undercarriage, which ain't good. So I've modified it, and I've now got these two. If we come down here, these two panels that can be removed, so we can then get to the mounting screws for the undercarriage and take it off if required, if it gets bent, you know, on a heavy landing or something. What else have we got? We've got a little drain hole here that drains that engine compartment. There it is, and it's also got a pipe down it from the back of the engine as well for the crankcase. And I mean, that is really it for this plane. It took a while, you know, because obviously I didn't have much time. But you know, I originally bought this because I wanted to have a bit of flying before the winter came. That didn't happen. Oh man. Yeah. So, yeah, that's my little talk on the Ben Buckle stroke RC Model Geeks Super Buccaneer. What else have I been doing? Yeah, in my spare time, I started. I don't know if anybody has seen it. A few people that have been over to the shed have seen it, but I started on this. This is a plain print eagle, all 3D printed out of PLA and lightweight PLA. It's a electric sort of motor glider eagle. Printed it all in white, and then I've painted the body or the fuselage in brown. Big mistake that was, big mistake. The brown absorbs too much heat from the sun, and in the summer it gets hot enough to make the PLA soft. So that's a warning. If you're doing one of these plain print planes, don't do it in a dark colour, because the PLA will soften in hot sun. So it's going to be a flight in the winter plane. But yeah, look at that nose, look at that, eh? Obviously the motor mounts in here with a prop out the front. You can swap the front out. This comes off here. You can swap the front out and turn it into a pure glider if you want. But it is pretty damn awesome. Takes 140 hours to print this whole thing. The wings are 3D printed. Yeah, everything's 3D printed on it. I'm just going to wander around here if I don't fall over and see if I can find one of the wings. Right. The wings are also 3D printed, and I'll get it out here. There we go. Let's stand back a bit. There is one of the wings. As you can see, it is proper bird-shaped wing. Bring it down here. You can see the curves in it. It is beautiful. But this was the part that I found decided to soften when I put it out in the sun after I sprayed it. Yeah, a bit annoying really, but yeah, beautiful. Even got the old wingtip feathers, which is made out of lightweight PLA. 2 metre wingspan. It should be good, should be fun. So that's to come as well, flying that at some point. As you know, I do like my my radio controlled birds. And this one should be flipping amazing. Actually, she's a bit dusty. She's been sitting around for a few months. Yeah. So that's really where we are at in the shed. Apart from, while I've been like doing all this caring, I've been like thinking, oh, what would I like to do? I know I've got to do the Spitfire, but you know what? It's not mine. And there's no major rush for it. It will get done, but you know, I want to do something for myself. You know, I've sort of had enough of being other people's slaves at the moment. So I was sitting at home thinking, what could I build next for myself, for my own pleasure? And if we wander down here, you'll see this fine chap. He's quite big. He's a big boy, and he's German, and he's from like the First World War, really. So I printed him, and I thought, wow, you know, if you're printing that, you've got to have something for it to go in, haven't you? And I thought, what planes did I used to like back in the 80s and 90s? What planes had I flown that I really enjoyed and always thought, you know what, I'd love one of those, or I'd love another one of them. So then I went and bought this. Now some of you might think that is a frying pan or a cooking pan. It ain't. Let's turn it over. Alright, that is a 10-inch spun cowling. Anybody know what it's going to be yet? That weren't cheap. I'll tell you, this cowling alone cost £43 just to buy the cowling. Fucking shocking. I was almost looking at trying to spin my own, and maybe I will one day. But we've got that, right? And then I thought, well, okay, I've got that bit. And I've got a German pilot. I need a plane. I need an engine. And you know, you're looking on the net on those cold, lonely nights while you're waiting for your mother to wake up again, and then you see something on the net and you think, you know what, I've got to have that in my life. So let me just move the bird out the way, move the plane over a bit, and I'll show you what I had to have in my life. I saw this. Sorry about the crap camera work. He's just going to have to listen to me. Now this is 30cc petrol 4-stroke. I always wanted a petrol model plane engine, not glow fuel. And, you know, I'm not a big 2-stroke fan, and so really it needed to be a 4-stroke as well. And there it is, a 4-stroke 30cc NGH 30. I got it cheap. Obviously it's spark ignition. It's a beautiful little engine actually. So we then got a player. We've got an engine. We've got a cowling over there. We've got a pilot. What we don't have is the plane. So then I spoke to my friends at Balsa Cabin. Now, if you want wood, you've got to go to Balsa Cabin. And a big, after spending quite a lot of cash at Balsa Cabin, a big package of wood arrived. Now there's wood here. I mean, that's like a towering inferno of wood. If we look under there, there's another stash of wood. I mean, if you wonder why there's a wood shortage, it's because I've got it all. So I went and bought loads of wood. So what are we going to build? Well, we are going to build something that resembles the Flare Hannibal. 90-inch, sort of mid-wing, looks a bit like an Eindecker, but it doesn't. Kind of First World War looking, blah blah blah. It's based on the Magnatilla. A lot of people will know the Magnatilla, Well, the Hannibal was the bigger version of the Magnatilla, and the Magnatilla was the bigger version of the Attila. There was a 3 in the range, a small one, a medium one, and a big one. Now, some of you would have heard Colin reminiscing in the past about the single time he flew an RC model with a glow motor, and that was when he had a Magnatilla. So they can't be that difficult to fly. So, we're building a Hannibal. Now, obviously, Flair went tits up years ago, so they don't make it anymore. Now, there's a German company that's re-kitting the Hannibal, but they've done a lot of changes to it, and there's a lot of plywood now involved in it, and the Hannibal wasn't like that. The Hannibal was very much a balsa plane, and the German remanufacture of it has turned it into some massive thing made out of big chunky plywood, you know, with like 30-40cc glow motors, 2-stroke glow motors on the front. You know, and the Hannibal used to fly beautiful on like 20cc 4-stroke, whatever. Now, I love the Hannibal. I used to fly one back in the 90s. My only gripe about the Hannibal was it sort of looks a bit unfinished. You know, you've got the wing on the plane, and you've just got a pilot basically sitting on top of the wing. And there's you know, it looks just slightly unfinished. So I've CAD'd up most of it now on the computer, and I'm just redesigning the sort of rear section from behind the cockpit to the tail, turning it into, you know, something that looks more like a fuselage that would have been on a real plane rather than a pilot sitting on top of a wing. So that's going to be a future project. Like I said, I've got most of the stuff now, and so when time allows, I can start bashing some balsa and creating that as well. But in the meantime, you know, we've still got to finish the Spitfire as well, so I'll probably be doing those maybe in tandem or whatever. But you know, at the end of the day, I want to do what I want to do, and as all proper modelers will know, not you foamy bashers, because you only have to spend like 2 minutes putting your planes together. Proper modelers, they go through phases. They'll build something, they might not finish it, and they'll put it to one side, and then they'll come back to it a year, 2 years later, and carry on and finish it. It's just the nature of the beast, and that's the way it is. And you know, if you don't like that, don't watch. You know, I'm going to do what I want to do when I want to do it, and sorry. You know, don't go moaning to me if I don't finish something at the time and get on with something else. It's what I want to do. It's what interests me at that time. You know, just enjoy the laughs. You know, I find now on the internet there are so many people that are just ready to fucking criticise, and you know, those people are generally the people that have got no idea about anything. They're just these sad little wankers sitting behind their computer screen, tapping away, having a little bat, writing shit. And you know, there's no need for it in this world. You know, be a man. If you're going to say something, fucking come out and say it to my face. Don't sit behind a silly little computer wanking off your small cock. Right, there you go. That is my grumble for the day. So I hope you like that. A bit of an update. And remember, be nice, people, because you're a long time dead, okay? So, see you all in the next video. I might even do a Christmas Day one, as I'm not doing anything else. See you all then, and take care.
Thank you for watching Captain Rob's RC Model Geeks. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to click that like button. If you want to see more of the same type of videos, don't forget you can subscribe. If you want to support us, you can use PayPal, paypal.me/RC Model Geeks. If you want to contact us, you can email us rcmodelgeeks@gmail.com. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.